Right, hello everybody, welcome back to the Golden Sky. Today it is Tuesday, the 16th of September 2025. I'm Tom, and as always, if you're here on YouTube, thank you very much for joining me today. Please do drop a like on the video, comment away, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. We are trying to get to 200 subscribers, so help me out, that'll be much appreciated. And if you are on the podcast, of course, 5-star ratings and reviews, that would be awesome as well. So today is Tuesday. You know what happens on Tuesday, as long as we don't have games or something else in the way, it's Tactical Tuesday, everyone's favourite. So we can look at the Burnley game from the weekend, just gone, and have a little look through some screenshots of the game and see what I thought, and I'll talk you through that, and we'll go through all the different clips and yeah, see what we think. So should we get into it? Because I've got a lot to show you today, I think, so hopefully you enjoy. Let's get into it. Okay, to start things off then, here we have the first image of the game, and basically, guys, could leave this image on for the remainder of the video and you wouldn't know any different, because this was how the entire game was played. We're going to play a quick game, a little mini game to start the video off here, called Can You Spot Burnley's Striker? Because he's in this photo. If you think you can, you'd be right to say it's this fella here. This is Burnley's striker, about 2 yards away from his own box. So this is what Liverpool face. This is Burnley's game plan. I said in the preview that I thought Burnley might play a 5 at the back, despite them playing 4 to start the season. Except against Spurs when they played 5 as well. They did exactly that. You can see it pretty clearly here from Walker up to Hartman at left wing back. They have that back 5. And then they have the resemblance of a midfield 4. It's sort of a 3 with then Anthony here a little bit further advanced, and then here's your striker. So you can see Burnley's clear game plan. Okay, it's to basically stop Liverpool scoring, and that's where the game plan finished. They wanted to counter attack, sure. They didn't really. They had maybe 1 or 2 half counter attacks. We'll get to those later, but I wanted to just put this on to show this is very, very early in the game. 2 minutes in, you can already see Burnley have basically all players behind the ball. And it's Liverpool's job to try and break it down. This is what we're going to see a lot this season. This was, however, an extremely defensive version of a low block. I mean, the centre-backs are on the penalty spot. Like, this is crazy. But, nonetheless, what's happening in this image? So we see this pattern play for Liverpool quite a lot, and Liverpool more and more seem to be having a left side bias. And what I mean by that is Liverpool attack down the left side of the pitch more than they attack down the right side of the pitch. I'm not sure quite what the reason is for that. It's just where our players tend to like to pass the ball. You'll notice that by how little you might think Salah gets on the ball in the game. Gakpo, you'll notice, gets on the ball quite a lot. Salah, not as much. That's because we like to attack down here. Whether that's a tactic or not, I'm not sure. But Gakpo has the ball, and what we see is a pretty common movement from these two, Kerkez and Gakpo. Kerkez is on the underlap, so Kerkez rarely finds himself, here during this game. He was quite often underlapping, and that's basically because Burnley allowed all the space to be on the wings. So we wanted to try and break into the box because all the space you can see is behind Gakpo. And the same over, I know the ball's over on the left side of the pitch, but all the space is on the wings. We want to try and make inroads into the box. And that's exactly what Kerkez is doing here. Gakpo could slot this ball through. But Gakpo likes to use Kerkez a lot as a decoy. So as Kerkez makes this run down here, Gakpo will cut inside quite a lot. He does that often. It's one of his go-to moves, and then once he gets here, he either shoots or crosses, and that's pretty much all Gakpo does when he cuts inside. He's very effective at it. On this occasion, he cuts inside. You can see Kerkez has made the run. Gakpo has used him as a decoy. He comes inside against Kyle Walker, and he gets the chance to let off the shot. Now, it's early in the game, so you don't mind this. He's taking a shot from outside the box. But you see, I just want to point out the bodies Burnley have. So Walker's obviously here, closing Gakpo down. You've got Cullen's coming to try and block the shot. I mean, you've got all three of the centre-backs are ready there to also try and block the shot. It doesn't matter because ultimately Gakpo kicks the ball about here. It goes absolutely miles over and miles wide. But the point is, Liverpool's job was to try and break this down. And if you look at Liverpool's formation, Liverpool's players, straight away, 2 minutes into the game, Konate, look how advanced he is. McAllister, Gravenberch, basically on the edge of the box. Van Dijk's the only player back. Szoboszlai playing right back, super advanced as well, just behind my head here. There was no need for Liverpool to really have much in the way of a rest defence in this game, and this is why. Okay, next clip is a corner. Liverpool actually did quite a few good corners in this game, to be honest, and if we'd have scored this one 5 minutes in, the game would have been a lot different. And I think Konate should score here from this corner, but I just wanted to put this in because, for a bit of a rare occasion, we let Gakpo take the corner. Now, when Gakpo was at PSV, he took corners, and he was really, really, really good at them. They were really effective. We've been letting Wirtz take our corners, and to be honest, they've been okay. Their delivery's pretty good. We haven't scored a goal yet. But we should score one here, because Gakpo puts the corner in. It's a really good corner. You can see we've got Salah on Dubravka. This is obviously very common now. People put players on the opposition's goalkeeper to try and stop them from coming to claim the ball, which is exactly what happens. You can see Dubravka is completely pinned here. He's nowhere near coming to get this ball. And Van Dijk and Konate, I mean, the ball goes over Van Dijk's head. You can just see the ball here in this sort of blurry pixel. Konate heads this ball, and he actually heads it over. He's 1 or 2 yards out. I don't really know how he misses from here. But he shouldn't, and that's the point. He should score. And also in the preview, another thing I pointed out was Burnley's weakness on crosses. They seem to be quite poor on defending crosses, and this was an example 10 minutes into the game. I mean, Van Dijk is completely free. So is Konate, really. Salah's still on the goalkeeper. You look at Burnley's players, like, none of them are really near any of our players. Like, Ekatike's been marked by Cullen, and you've got sort of Szoboszlai and Kirkes sort of being marked, but no one else is really near anybody. This would have been a really good way for us to score a goal, and this is why set pieces are so important. We need to get back to scoring them, and that's something to pick up going forward. And you can see, Konate knows he should score, because the green giant here was absolutely gutted. Look at him. He knows it. Head in his hands. He was gutted. And he should have been. And we see here, in the next photo, this is where Ryan Gravenberch really decides to show everybody that he's not messing around, right? And he just decided, look, I'm going to just start taking control of this game because I've had enough of Burnley. So what we see is Virgil van Dijk is playing him this straight ball into the midfield. We see this ball quite a lot. Now, I'm going to say something here, a little opinion of mine. Disagree or agree, let me know. I think Ryan Gravenberch is the best midfielder in the world at receiving the ball on his back foot and transitioning play from rested possession with our defence into an attacking phase. I think he's the best in the world at it. No one transitions into attacks smoother and better than Ryan Gravenberch. The only player that I would consider putting in that bracket is Pedri. This guy is elite at this. And I'll tell you exactly why. You can see already, before the ball's even come to him, he's got that sort of feinted body position where he's feinting to receive the ball. And he's gonna receive the ball on his right foot here, his back foot. And now, if you're a young midfielder watching this, a young number 10, a young holding midfielder, receiving the ball on the back foot is one of the most important things you can do as a midfielder. It's something I learned when I was younger. So I'm giving you this advice for free. Receive the ball on your back foot, and this is why. Cullen thinks he can nick this. He comes to press Gravenberch. He thinks maybe I can nick it. But the way Gravenberch receives the ball, in one swift movement, he opens up the entire pitch because he receives it on his back foot. If he receives it here on his left foot, he's facing this way still, and Cullen can put pressure on him, and maybe he has to go and pass the ball back to Van Dijk. But because he receives the ball on his back foot, he's able to open up his body and turn. And then what he does so well, which a lot of players don't do, he doesn't just receive this ball and control it here to feet, allowing Cullen to come and press him. He actually pushes the ball away with his first touch. And he's so strong and powerful and fast as well. It's an underrated part about Gravenberch. He's really quick. He's able to just burst away from Cullen. And you see then how we've just broken the lines of Burnley's play. Burnley's of sort of the mid block they're in here because we had the ball in our defence. He's able to, bypass these three players. He's running into all this space that he's made. Like, this is really, really top stuff from Gravenberch, and it creates a chance for us. Because, like I said, he runs through. See, Ugo Chukwu's now attracted to the ball. He has to leave his space and come over here, so it's going to open up all of this. You look at the defence, they have no choice but to retreat, all of them running back towards their own goal. Ekatike can make a run maybe. In this occasion, it doesn't happen. But what does happen is Gravenberch advances, gives the ball to Wirtz. And if you look at where he picked the ball up, I believe, let's go back to this one. He's nearly on the halfway line. By the time he actually passes the ball, he's nearly on the edge of his box, just from one turn. This is where individual brilliance from Gravenberch he is so good at this, guys. He's so good. He did it multiple times in this game. Gravenberch is able to then give the ball to Wirtz. It's a good ball outside of his boot, like Beckenbauer. I think this is the right pass here. Burnley have lots of bodies back, so there's no real pass to Ekatike. I think it makes sense. Wirtz is able to take the shot, but again, this is another thing I wanted to point out. This was quite a quick attack from Liverpool. We actually moved our phase of play quite quickly. Yet Burnley was still able to end the attack with 5 of their defenders in the box. Almost 6 with Ugo Chukwu, the midfielder, almost back into the box as well. And they get the block in on Wirtz's shot. Now, this is something Burnley did all game. They were able to block shots, and they were praised so heavily for their play in this game. I am genuinely a bit astounded by how heavily Burnley have been praised. How Liverpool is still receiving quite a lot of criticism for their performances so far this season, despite the fact that we're the only team in the Prem to win all 4 of our games so far. We've played Bournemouth, who look amazing. We've played Newcastle away in one of the hardest aways we'll play all year. Probably the hardest away, given the circumstances. We beat Arsenal, who are everyone's favourite team. And then we beat Burnley, who... Look, Burnley aren't great, sure, but they decided they would just completely park the bus. And last season, they didn't concede more than 1 goal at home in any game all year in the league. First British team in history to do so. So I think instead of rewarding and praising Burnley and saying it was so cruel on them to lose in the fashion they did, I think we should be crediting Liverpool for keeping on going and making that look. I'm getting into a bit of a tangent now, but I wanted to talk about that with how Burnley were able to block shots. Okay, more sort of rested possession here, and we saw a lot of this where it was basically Van Dijk or Konate at the back. And this is the type of game where a lot of the time what you'll see with Liverpool is we'll sort of have 3 in their defence like this. So it'll be whether it's Van Dijk, Konate and Kirkes might be here, or maybe Szoboszlai or Bradley, whoever might be here, and we create sort of a 3-man defensive line. Just realised you couldn't see that last drawing because it was under my face, but Szoboszlai's here. Instead of being there, he should be a little bit further back this way, usually. But because Burnley had basically no intention of pressing us or advancing at all with the football, we didn't need to do that. It made no sense for us to do that. So Slot basically told our players, I would imagine, forget being in sort of this region of the pitch. Okay, this region of the pitch is not really where you want to be. McAllister's coming short for the ball. What you see is Kirkes advanced, Wirtz advanced, Gravenberch advanced, being marked by the ref, which the ref all game did this, by the way. Szoboszlai advanced. Like, all our players are trying to get behind this sort of midfield of Burnley. But what Burnley did, and you can see it clearly in this screenshot, is so they have the back 5, we see that, but they also have this sort of circle of players because their entire tactic was to stop the ball through the middle. That was all they wanted to do. Stop the ball through the middle, force it wide. That's all they were bothered about. They don't want the ball coming into here. That's why Liverpool have Kirkes and Szoboszlai narrow. You can see they're not out here by the touch lines because this is where Burnley want us to be. We want to be narrow, attacking in between the holes of the defence, and if we can, picking the ball up in the midfield. So, how do we do that? Well, Van Dijk fires a ball. I mean, these have to be really precise, hard hit passes. Fires it into Gravenberch, again, showing his ability to move without the ball. He moves away from Michael Oliver, who was marking him really well, and is able to receive the ball. Again, you see receiving it on his back foot. And Burnley, whenever this happened, whenever we got the ball in the middle, would jump immediately with one of their centre-backs onto the player who was receiving the ball. Loads of pressure, really quick. Another thing, we had 83% possession or something in this game, about 80% possession, and we had the same amount of fouls given to us as Burnley did. So just want to throw that out there as well. Do with that stat what you want. But they would come out and press us really quick. Gravenberch knows this, and again, is amazing at receiving the ball on his back foot. So he pops the ball off first time to Kirkes, makes that 1-2. You see what we've done really well here is we've sucked the defence out of their back line for the first time really in this game. The centre-backs had to jump up. Walker's had to jump up to press Kirkes. Kirkes plays the nice 1-2. If he gets this pass a little bit better, Gravenberch is in. Instead, he sort of chips it into the air a little bit. So Gravenberch has to improvise, but no problem. He can do that as well. A little backwards flick he does here to Kirkes. It's brilliant play again from Gravenberch, who is Liverpool's man of the match in this game, in my opinion. Ball gets to Kirkes, and now we're in a really dangerous area. We've broke into the box. We've got a bit of space. Kirkes has a chance to maybe cross. Takes his first touch, and then this is where the dive happens. And we've all seen it. We've all heard about it. Yep, it's a dive. Kirkes does dive. We know that, but that's not important. What's important is the play that Liverpool did to get to this point. And if he doesn't dive, let's imagine he stays on his feet. If he crosses the ball, which obviously he should have done, I'm not really sure we'd have got on the end of it because Ekatiké's marked, Wirtz is there. The only thing he can maybe do is flash it across on the floor, and maybe Wirtz gets in, or maybe it misses these two altogether and Salah gets in right at the back post. But you see again, the underlapping run, that's again a feature of our game. Kirkes making the underlap rather than coming around the outside of Gakpo. That's a feature of what we want to do here because Burnley wanted to show us onto the wing. So obviously, we then wanted to come into the box because that's where you score your goals. Okay, did want to show this here just to highlight one individual in particular for Liverpool. So this is where we're going to actually lose the ball here. You see, again, Burnley, we saw it again. Lots of players in the box, lots of players around the ball. Super deep. You see Liverpool again here. We've got Konate, Gravenberch, Kirkes. You might think this is our back three, and that sort of setup I just said where we have the three players sort of holding the back line. Well, actually, these have all pushed forward, and Van Dijk is somewhere roaming around here. And that's who we're going to look at in this clip, because Liverpool lose the ball, and Burnley escape. Now, I think Liverpool have a tactic this year. We did this in pre-season, and it's not changed, really, in the Prem. So I think we have a tactic this year, where Virgil van Dijk now plays almost a little bit like a sweeper from the 70s. Now, the reason why I say that is we've seen this in pre-season and we've seen it in the Premier League, like I said, where he will be the only one back and he'll be 20, 30 yards further back than the rest of our team. I think we do this on purpose. I think we do this completely on purpose because we want to overload the play when we're in these situations. We want to have Konate. He's not the best on the ball, but it's another body that we only have to worry about. We want to be able to move the ball around and move players out of position. But obviously, we can't throw everybody forward. So we just leave Van Dijk back on his own because he's the best. He's the best in the world at this. And he needs to get credit for this type of thing because this is amazing defending. Burnley, you can see just escaping here. The ball is just under my head here. And they're going to get away. And now we see it's a one-on-one. You've got our players are sprinting back, Konate, Gravenberch, Kirk sprinting back, Burnley players trying to sprint forward, join the attack. But Van Dijk is so in control of this situation. It's scary, actually, how in control he is. You see, there's no real rush in his body language. He knows he's got the situation where he wants it. It's fine. The confidence he has is so high. Closes the space before the fella's entered the box. So he's not giving him a chance to get too deep. Maybe we can just shift and shoot. He's engaged outside the box. So now he has to take him on. And it's basically impossible to dribble around Van Dijk, I'll be honest. And keep the ball, it's basically impossible. So he tries to take him on. Van Dijk just seals the ball. It's brilliant one-on-one defending. Really, really good one-on-one defending. And you see in the next one, he actually brings him down for a free kick. And we win a free kick. So we went from this situation here to winning a free kick. It's amazing defending from Van Dijk, who has been amazing to start this season. And I think we are deploying him as a bit of a sweeper. I think we're doing it on purpose to save his legs, so he doesn't have to quite run back as fast, as quick. And I also think we're doing it when we're playing these lesser teams to sort of try and suffocate them around their box whilst, getting as many men forward as possible without sacrificing too many at the back, as in leaving Van Dijk back on his own. Okay, next one. So Gakpo again, wide, again on the left wing. You see all our attacks so far, left wing, left wing, left wing. We have a massive left side bias. We keep attacking down the left. So this time, Gakpo's going one-on-one with Walker again. Walker kept showing Gakpo the outside because, like I said, Burnley want to encourage the play to be on the wing. They don't want the ball coming back in here. This is danger for Burnley, right? They want the ball going wide. They feel like with the bodies they've got in the box, they can deal with it. Which for 95 minutes they did. Gakpo does take Walker to the byline. Liverpool get to a decent position here. And he gets the cross in. The problem we've got is we've got McAllister box crashing here. He's entering late into the box. It's a good run from McAllister, but he's not the tallest player in the world. And when the ball goes up, it gets cleared by the keeper and it comes out to Gravenberch. But I just wanted to put this screenshot in because it genuinely is hilarious. This is so funny, guys. This is hilarious stuff. We're about 20 minutes in here to the game. Let's play a game of Can You Spot Burnley Striker? Again, if you guessed in the D, you'd be correct. Here he is. Here's Burnley's striker, right next to our centre back, but on the edge of Burnley's own box. Every single other player for Burnley is defending in the box. This is incredible. Like, this is really unprecedented stuff, I think. I've never seen a team be like this before, the entire game. They have 3 players. Okay, I know we just got to the byline, I know. They have 3 players, basically, in the 6-yard box, trying to block the ball. Almost 4. It's insane. And to give them credit for doing this, in my opinion, is why England, as a footballing nation, can't compete at the top level in the top European competitions, because we encourage teams to play this way and English players to come up learning this style of football, which doesn't win at the top level. It doesn't win at the top level. That's why Spain, Brazil, France, these teams win the competitions and England don't. Anyway, Gravenberch has a shot. It goes over, but the point I wanted to make is look how many players they have in the box. Even if he gets this on target, it's likely that it gets blocked, or maybe the best we could hope for is a deflection that maybe goes in or falls to one of our players. It's ridiculous. But again, what we also see is Konate really far advanced, Kirk's advanced, but no Van Dijk, sweeping up again at the back. Okay. Again, Gravenberch has the shot. Szoboszlai now having a shot. Burnley, a million players in the box, trying to block it. This was Burnley's tactic. Right. Again now, Liverpool, rested possession, trying to punch the ball in between the lines to find areas of attack. Robbo's come on now, and again, Liverpool are on the left-hand side of the pitch. This is where we like to attack. Again, left-hand side bias. Gravenberch fires a good ball into Robbo. You can see no pressure at all on the ball. These players could just do whatever they wanted. There was no pressure at all on the ball from Burnley. So the game was all in basically this third of the pitch. Because up until here, they didn't engage us. Robbo's come on now. And the first thing Robbo does when he comes on is turn into basically prime Marcelo for some reason. He receives the ball and he goes, right, watch this. Nutmegs this fella. Okay, brilliant one-on-one play from Robbo, in fairness. And then tries a little outside of the foot shot. But one thing I wanted to mention here, and I looked at this, this is when the game started to become a one-on-one type game. When Burnley plays so deep, when a team plays so deep, constantly trying to defend in their own box, the game is won by a moment of individual brilliance, in my opinion. Unless you get a penalty, of course, something like that. It's usually won by one player doing something to beat their individual marker. In this situation, we have Robbo. Look where he receives the ball, right? He's not in a dangerous area here, but because he then nutmegs this fella, look where he's able to get to. Now in the box. Dangerous spot. That's just from one-on-one. This is why I wanted Rio and Gamora on later in the game, which we'll get to, but this is what Liverpool need to do more of. You know, be aggressive, beat the man. Next one. Rare situation of Liverpool actually being deep, with Burnley a little bit pushed up the field. I think they'd had a set piece or a throw in or something like that where they tried to put some players forward, immediately lost the ball, and Liverpool get back with it. But the one thing this allowed Liverpool to do was getting behind for basically the first and only time in the game. Ekitike makes a good run, and you can see Burnley's defence is like where they are instead of being here, where we've seen them for most of the game. So Ekitike has all this space to make runs in behind, which he does really well here. Stretches the play, gets on the ball, left side bias again, of course. And Ekitike likes to do a step over his left foot with his right foot, onto his left foot. That's one of the moves he has in his locker. He's really, really good at it. It's very sharp and quick when he does it. One-on-one game. Again, all these things I keep saying to you, they're happening time and time again. He beats his man, gets to the byline, and puts a cross in with his toe. Toe pokes it. But this is a criticism of Liverpool I have in this game. So here's our striker, doing really good work. I'm going to be critical of these three players here. I think Salah could get to this back post. Wirtz maybe could get into here, maybe. Szoboszlai maybe could get into here. But it's very unlikely that Ekitike is going to be able to get this ball back here. It's just, they have too many players in the way. But I think these three players need to try and get right into the box. Because if you look where the ball ends up, if you imagine now, if Salah had broke his neck to get in here, he has a tap in. Brilliant work from Ekitike. He was quiet in this game, but this was a good moment for him. Liverpool should do better here. Alright, so second half then. Again, what we're seeing here is Burnley in the back five. Hartman's just off the screen, and then the four midfielders and the striker. They're getting deeper and deeper as the game goes on. Liverpool getting more and more desperate to score, of course. Robbo about to put a cross into the box, which is what Liverpool eventually had to resort to. Conor Bradley's come onto the pitch now, and we're seeing what we saw in pre-season, where we sort of have a row of five up front with our left winger, Wirtz and the striker, and then a full-back with Salah again off the screen. This is what we saw a lot. We're trying to basically match Burnley man for man at the back. Bradley makes a really good run. Robbo puts a good ball in, and he actually gets up and wins the header and nearly gets it in at this back post. Not so much in the way of tactics here, just maybe us trying to put more players into the box using our fullbacks. But a close effort that I thought was worth having a look at. Again, another example of a rare Burnley counter-attack. We lose the ball on the edge of our box and they attack with Jadon Anthony, who I said in the preview was probably their danger man. Well, here he is. And again, we see here the sweeper, Van Dijk. He's so deep here. This is clearly a tactic for me. Otherwise, he would just be here. There's no reason why he would be 20 yards deeper than the rest of our team unless he was told to sweep at the back. I think this is a clear tactic. Anyway, Jadon Anthony runs forward. He advances to a certain point, but Szoboszlai is really, really quick. And this is a benefit of playing him at right back, is he's able to keep up with these pacey attackers, which is what he does. And he forces Jaden Anthony to have to pass the ball. Now, another reason why he might pass the ball here is because he's up against Van Dijk. And Van Dijk is so intimidating for a winger to run at. They basically don't even try a lot of the time. He puts this ball through. He's trying to get it to this fella here, making the run. But Van Dijk, again, just turns on the burners, wins the ball. Really, really, really good one-on-one defending from Virgil van Dijk. And it's worth pointing out because he is the best at this in the world, still to this day. And now he's a sweeper, like 1970 Beckenbauer, like I said earlier. So there we go. Next one, we're back on the attack after that very short-lived burst forward from Burnley. Back with the play, you see, again, no pressure on the ball. Robbo could basically walk this ball up to here. No pressure on the ball. Again, left side. Have we seen any attacks down the right-hand side in this game so far that I've pointed out? I don't think so. They're all going down the left. The ball goes to Wirtz, and this is where Wirtz decides to sort of take matters into his own hands. And he goes one-on-one with Cullen. Again, I said this is a one-on-one like type game. This is what happens. So he starts to have a little run at Cullen. Drops his shoulder really nicely. Comes inside. Fakes a shot. Nice bit of skill. Taking his man on one-on-one, because if he's able to beat him, this is when things open up. This is what he's trying to do here. Beats him. Gets to the box. They recover. There's no space for a shot really. So Wirtz again comes back onto his right foot this time. Snaps a little shot in. You can see the bodies. I mean, just look at the state of this. Look at the bodies around Wirtz. Ekatike's on the floor for some reason. Like, he's just admiring the play. Wirtz has a shot. It's going to be really, really difficult to score from this situation because of the amount of bodies he has around him. But, again, this is just what Burnley do. So, he holds us here. The shot goes just wide. It was a good effort, but just wide, not enough. We move on to the next attack, but this is what we do. We keep going. We keep going to the very last second. And this is why we keep scoring last-minute winners, because we just keep going. There was a time not so long ago, before Jurgen Klopp came to Liverpool, where 75 minutes of this game, we'd have settled for a point, or we'd have been losing this game, and our first goal would have been the equaliser, and we'd have gone, whoa, we got a point there. That was a good point in the end. This is not the case anymore with Arne Slot's tricky Reds. Jurgen Klopp built us to this situation where we believe we can win, and we should win every game we play. Now we're executing it week after week after week. Lovely bit of play here. A rare Burnley press on us. We had a throw-in, and they sort of put some pressure on us. Brilliant from Bradley, Szoboszlai, and Salah in this instance. So Salah pops the ball off into Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai, really quick first-time pass into Bradley. Good run from him, and we broke through this press. Just some nice slick play from us. You can see when we actually draw Burnley out, when they've got defenders high up the pitch, we create ourselves really good situations because our actual play is really good. I think we played really good in this game. Szoboszlai gives the ball to Conor Bradley. We've now got space. For one of the first times in the game, we've actually got space. Okay? Bradley's going to run forward. You can see the defence. Immediately, they just want to run back. They just want to sprint backwards. Okay? This is what happens. Bradley's able to beat Esteve and come forward with the ball. And for the pretty much only time in the game, we have a numbers advantage on Burnley's defence. They've got basically three back. We've got, the three here. We've got Gakpo, and we've got Wirtz coming in with the midfielder tracking back. So, what do? We give the ball to Salah. You're thinking, great, we're cooking here. Liverpool are cooking. What's going to happen? We're going to score. Well, maybe if Salah had his boots on the right feet. Look, he kicks the ball here. It goes straight here to the goalkeeper, who you can just see his feet below my camera. It's an awful cross. And I don't know why he kicks it with his right foot. For me, I think here, last season we saw Mo Salah trivela the ball with the outside of his foot time after time after time. And I think if he does the same thing here, outside of his left boot, curls the ball around like this, Gakpo could easily get in to score. It's not an easy ball, but we saw him do it last season, so I think he can do it. I think what he's trying to do with his right foot is kick the ball here to Gakpo, or maybe even bring it here to Wirtz, but he just shanks it completely. It goes over here to Dubravka, and it's a attack wasted. But Just wanted to put it in to show when we actually had a bit of space, we cut them apart. It was really good play. We just messed it up at the end, but it was really good play from us. We'll go to the next one where, again, we've got the ball. No real pressure on the ball. Gravenberch here with it. Burnley, again, set up deep. Advances forward. And I wanted to put this in just to show Wirtz's movement. Wirtz is going to get on the ball here. This is actually the red card. This is really, really clever from Florian Wirtz. So Ugachukwu is aware of where Wirtz is, and he's trying desperately to get on the ball to make something happen. So what he does is he actually fakes like he's going to move in this direction. It looks for the world like he is, right? It looks like his body is ready to sprint forward in this way. Ugachukwu's pointing, he's aware he's there. But it's a fake. He feints it, comes back. Ugachukwu's ran to that space. And now Wirtz has the ability to be able to receive this pass. Again, receives it on the back foot. Midfielders, young players, receive the ball on the back foot, turn away from the pressure, which is what he does. Forces the tackle, and it's a red card. It's just individual brilliance from Wirtz, who, like I said, he hasn't been, I said this in the ratings, he hasn't been, firing goals in, getting assists. Like, it's not maybe been the start that maybe we all dreamt of for Wirtz to be the best player in the league immediately. Look, he's still doing a lot of good things on the pitch. He's not Messi. Just because he was £100 million doesn't mean he's going to score a hat-trick every week. Like, he's still doing good things. This is an example here of him doing a good thing. Now we're right towards the end of the game. Liverpool have basically thrown everybody onto the pitch. There's not a lot to talk about here in terms of positions because this is the part of the game where everyone is just crashing the box to try and score a goal. But what it is time to talk about is the introduction of Rio Ngamoa, which I was crying out for in this game for 10 minutes before he came on. Because the game had become so one-to-one heavy, he's the best player in our team at going one-on-one. He's the best player already. It's wild to think, but he is. And I wanted him on because he can do things one-on-one that no one else can. He's isolated wide. Can he run past Walker, create a chance? Well, you'll see in a minute. Advanced into the box. They really, really don't want the ball coming into the box. And Ngamoa does well to sort of dribble in there, but they stop him at this point. Comes in even more. He's patient. And what he does here, he waits for the right opportunity, and he finds this really good ball to Frimpong, who's in loads of space. Because if you look, he's been able to carry the ball, Ngamoa, from here all the way into the box. Slowly, dribbling forward. Every single Burnley player, look, every single one, that is on the ball. Every single player fixated on the ball because Rio has it. Late in the game, every single player fixated on the ball. Let's play a game of Spot Burnley's striker. He's nearly in the box. Armando Broja, here he is. Frimpong has just ghosted in because now we have 17 million attackers on the pitch. Here's our left back. Here's our right back. Here's our other right back. Here's our right winger. Here's our striker. Here's our striker. Here's our left winger. Like, we're going crazy. Really good ball from Rio. Finds Frimpong, and all of a sudden Burnley are like, shit, we've got to get over here. Nice overload from us. Frimpong just can't quite get the shot in. They close him down well. The only way he scores, I think, here is if he gets this through the defender's legs and it goes in this corner. He doesn't quite get it right. It's a difficult one with the angle of him being left-footed, and they sort of close him down. The ball was sort of under his feet. They make the save. But here we see Scott Parker. I put this in at the end just to show you Scott Parker's face once Liverpool got to the penalty. There's no tactics here. It's just to show this is a man who set his team up in the most anti-football possible way. And this is what he looked like at the end of the game. And this is what Liverpool looked like at the end of the game. Mo Salah celebrating the win with Frimpong, with Chiesa, with Gakpo behind him. That's the sign of winners, of champions. 1-0 to Liverpool. That's how we roll. All right, everybody, that is going to be it for today's Tactical Tuesday. I hope that you did enjoy. Went through as many clips as possible from that game. I know there wasn't really a lot of differentiation there. There wasn't really a lot of differentiation in the game because Burnley didn't offer us any. But I hope what I said made sense to you all and you took something from the video. And if you did, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you thought of my analysis. And if you picked up anything else from the game, I'm always keen to hear what you guys think. Like the video as well. Really, really appreciate it. It just helps get the video out to more people. So they can come and watch with us, and subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't done so already. If you've watched to this point and you've not clicked subscribe, please do consider clicking subscribe. We're trying to get to 200 subscribers, so that would be amazing if you can help me out. Today later, I do plan on having a short out to preview the Atletico Madrid game. It will only be a short because I'm busy. I got stuff to do. But the game is tomorrow, so I will try and get that out for everybody. So that will be out as well. Until then, until the next proper video, which will be the Madrid ratings tomorrow, I hope that you all have a good day, and I will speak to you all on Wednesday. Thanks, guys. Goodbye.